it's Nikki and welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for watching today's video all about the behind the seeds tour at Epcot with Living with the Land. We had so much fun doing this tour. I just wanted to give a quick background of what this video is going to be like today. Because we were on a tour and we were with a large group, I didn't want to do any talking in my videos because I didn't want to disturb any of the guests as well as myself. And so a lot of this video is just going to be like B-roll per se, with voiceovers of me explaining what we did on the tour and what we saw, what the experience was like. So just wanted to give that I just wanted to give you a little bit of heads up that this video is a majority of it going to be a voiceover. But let me know in the comments down below if you have any questions about this tour or any tours at Walt Disney World. Let's get started. Okay, we got our pass, we signed our waivers, we're ready to go. Are you ready for your tour? You're blurry. Jack, happy birthday. Look at his cute shirt. Oh, there's little baby Jack. Behind the scenes of Jackson's favorite ride. Really excited to chat with you about the behind the scenes tour with Living with the Land. I do want to say this is a walking tour, and so just make sure that everyone in your party is comfortable standing and walking for about an hour. Right away, we went behind the boat ride part where they say you really are living with the land to look at these different bugs. I can't remember the names, but they do testing in here, and these bugs like to pollinate, if that's the correct word, on these leaves, and then they actually push them out of the leaves, and you can see them at the bottom of this container. It was crazy. The cast member did a great job of explaining how this works, and you can see here that they just tilt them forward and then they end up falling out. It was wild. These Mickey mini gardens are really cute. They were actually for sale, and I think I'm going to buy one the next time we go there. But this is where they make them, and that was really cool. So they really are made with the plants from Living with the Land, and that is something that you can take home with you. So if you've ever been on Living with the Land, then you know you're able to see the different fruits and vegetables and flowers and just everything that they grow within the facility. Living with the Land is a slow moving boat ride that normally doesn't have a wait longer than 15 minutes, which I feel like we all can enjoy that. But what's really cool about Living with the Land is that they take this produce and they actually use it in the restaurants around Walt Disney World. And they're really here to help test and cultivate new ways of growing more sustainability. There we go. So those are Brussels sprouts. You can kind of see them a little bit on the pole there, but they're trying to grow items out of the land and more in the air. This plant was the coolest plant. I cannot remember the name of it, but you touch it and it crinkles back up, and then after a couple of minutes it opens back up again. But honestly, I could have stayed here all day long to touch this plant, and I kind of want one for our house. I don't think that'll happen, but it is really cool. So then something else during Living with the Land that we got to do is we got to taste a cucumber. We joked about this the entire time of, oh, are we going to be able to taste something from Living with the Land? And you do. We actually all got a little piece of cucumber to taste, which was really cool. So throughout the tour, the cast member really does a great job of explaining different things, answering all of the questions, showing how they water all of these plants as well, and just all of the different maintenance and what their techniques are for growing the different fruits and vegetables. So here you can see the tomato plants that are very, very high, and I believe she said they just trimmed them recently. But majority of the plants that you're seeing now are used in the Walt Disney World restaurants. Once you pass the fish area on Living with the Land, that is everything that's used in the restaurants. Everything before is mainly just for show and for testing. Something that was really cool and that is coming up here is this lettuce. So lettuce does not do great in hot environments, and so they are all in these containers where really cold water is being pushed through to pretty much keep the lettuce's body temperature low. And so then that makes happy lettuce, and they grow, and then they're able to take that into the restaurants. So something, if you've been on Living with the Land before, and if you haven't noticed, within the lettuce, they always have a really fun design. So they had the 50th, they normally will have a Mickey head. So make sure you keep a lookout the next time you're on Living with the Land for that fun nod. But they also had molds to make cucumbers into Mickey shapes. This was really cool, and you could see this one is growing into that mold, and when they cut it, then it'll be a Mickey shape. So they do have tons of different options. They have eggplants here. They have these really, I think these were peppers. I can't remember exactly, but about all of these fruits and vegetables, again, that are growing high, she explained that they have flowers, and then that's how they pollinate each other, and then that's how they get their fruits. So that was really interesting to learn, and they really go into detail about how they have their irrigation system, and just to try and make everything really safe and healthy for the plants without using just sprays and pesticides to keep that out of your food. That was another thing that we really enjoyed, was while we all eat food every single day, you don't really see where it comes from very much. And so that was something that just made me think, okay, let's think a little bit more about where your food comes from that you're putting into your body. And these were the coffee trees, which was really cool because she explained to us how hard it is to harvest coffee and how these trees take a really long time to grow, which is why coffee is so expensive, because it's not easy to get. So again, we just really learned a lot of fun facts about the different items that they have on Living with the Land. And there's a little, see, that's a little coffee seed, and it is just really interesting. I highly recommend going on Living with the Land. I'm not going to give away all of the tips and fun facts that they shared, because I want you to be able to go and experience it, but we definitely had a great time. So in this area, we were actually able to see the entire irrigation system, and this was really cool because this shows where all they get all of their nutrients. At the beginning of the ride, they warn you about not getting out of your boat, but especially not touching that sand, because they keep that sand very, very clean. Any cast member that goes on there has to cover the bottoms of their shoes, because they want to make sure that they're not bringing any germs or anything that shouldn't be by the plants into their area. So this was the tilapia area, and she talked about the shrimp, and I always notice that there aren't a lot of shrimp in those tube-like structures, and it's because they actually will fight. So as the shrimp get larger, they cannot be by each other, or they'll try and eat each other. Honestly, that's what she told us. But one thing that they did have, they had a list of places where you could get farm raised tilapia or just places to get fish that are healthy and are being treated correctly. So something that was really exciting here that we're going to do is we were actually able to feed the tilapia. You're able to do this on every tour. This is when they get their meals throughout the day. So you could see that they were starting to go crazy because we were going to go up and feed them. So this was really exciting. So everyone on the tour that would like are able to feed the tilapia, and it really is just fish food pretty much, and they just pour a little bit in your hand and then you count down and then everybody tosses the food. I do want to mention here that throughout the tour and many other Disney tours as well, you do get an earpiece, so that allows you to be able to hear the cast member very well. You can turn it up and down to whatever you're liking, and that just makes your overall tour experience a lot better. We didn't start with these, and so I was a little concerned, but right after we left the room with like the bugs and the plants, then they gave us our earpieces. So just know that you do get an earpiece just to make your overall experience a lot more positive. So after we left the fish aquarium area, now we were in the side of the Living with the Land where these plants and fruits and vegetables are mainly used for research and not for the restaurant. So everything after the fish is really focused on trying to harvest for the restaurants around Walt Disney World, but the area over here was mainly used just for the ride and for research and development. 90% sure that was a banana tree because she talked about the flowers and how all parts of the tree have to flower, and then that's how the bananas are developed and grow. A lot of the facts that I learned is how the fruits grow on trees is you have to have a male flower and a female flower, and then those flowers come together. I know what you're getting at, and then that's how the fruit is produced. I don't know why I never thought of it like that. Makes total sense when you think about it, but again, it's just learning the different details and the steps that you normally wouldn't realize or focus on. And this plant here is vanilla, so they talked to us how it takes a very long time for vanilla to grow and to develop, which is why it is so expensive. So again, really learning, okay, this is why those fruits or items are more expensive, because it takes so much for it to grow. So at the end of the tour, you actually walk back through everything that you just looked at. So you go all the way through to the Mickey, and then you will walk back over. So this is kind of nice too, because I was able to get a really cute shot of the Minnie Mouse here, and just being able to look at things a little further now that you know them. So definitely highly recommend going on Behind the Seeds tour. It was a really fun thing to do for Jackson's birthday, and we also of course had to go on Living with the Land when we were done with the tour. And then look at those cute little strawberries are there, but we absolutely loved it, and again, highly recommend giving this a try. For today's video, thank you so much for hanging out with me today and watching my review of Behind the Seeds at Epcot. Living with the Land, like I'm sure I've said, is Jackson's favorite ride, and so this was definitely something I wanted to do for him on his birthday, and we absolutely loved it. Highly recommend doing this tour for anyone visiting Walt Disney World. They have so many fun personalized tours that you can do, and then just group tours as well. So definitely check those out if you're planning a trip. Maybe I should do, we've done a couple of tours now, so maybe I should do like an overview of like which one's our favorite is. Maybe, yeah, let me know in the comments down below if that is something you'd be interested in. But I hope you guys have a magical rest of your day, and I will see you real soon. Bye.